Short sellers are nursing estimated losses of $19 billion in 2021 after betting on GameStop's stock to plunge. Said it perfectly that time. Short sellers have lost about $19 billion on GameStop in 2021. New estimates suggest. Let's see. Reddit day traders have sent the stock soaring by more than 15,000% this year. GameStop's rise has hammered hedge funds, including Melvin, Point72, and D1. Okay, I'll read a little bit from the article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but hedge funds and other institutions shorting GameStop stock were sitting on losses about $19 billion as of Friday. New data shared exclusively with Insider indicates. Figures from the data provider Ortex suggested that investors who had bet the share price would fall had been massively squeezed, with losses topping $10 billion on Wednesday alone when GameStop soared under 35%. Members of the Reddit forum Wall Street Bets have gone to war with hedge funds such as Melvin Capital this week over U.S. video game retailer.
Okay, you want me to sum this up really quick for you?
Go ahead, because yes.
Yeah, this is complicated stuff. I've listened to a lot of commentaries. Luckily, I went into it kind of understanding what was going on. I've had to wade through a lot of commenters that had no clue. Hate to throw any shade at Tom from Midnight's Edge, but he just doesn't care. But here's the basic breakdown. Okay, if you understand what a hedge fund trader is, okay, it's in a way it's a little bit like the producers. They're betting on something failing instead of betting on something doing well. Ordinarily, when you get into the stock market, you buy stock in I don't know, let's say Apple. You think it's going to do really well. You think the stock is going to go up, and sure enough, it does. And yay, you make money, right? Well, hedge funds are purchasing. They're purchasing against stocks they don't actually own. They're actually borrowing a stock from somebody else. Yeah, it gets very, very complicated. I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible. And they're betting that it's going to do poorly. Okay, so they end up making money on how much it loses, and then they sell it back to the person that they borrowed it from for whatever. Okay. So it's very much like the play or the movie The Producers, where you're expecting to lose money on it, but if you end up making money, or if the stock ends up going up, or ends up doing well, you lose money on it. And so what's ended up happening is these hedge funds have lost literally billions with a B on this stock, because a whole bunch of little guys, on Reddit said, you know what, these hedge funds are doing something that's it's legal, but it's pretty shady and underhanded. We should really send a message to Wall Street. Go buy stock in GameStop. GameStop, let's face it, GameStop is a company that should not still exist. It's a business model that is dying. It was dying before the coup. It was destined to be a loser to begin with. But if everybody who just got a stimulus check goes and spends their stimulus check on this stock, that stock suddenly becomes very, very valuable artificially. Nothing illegal about it. It's not like insider trading where they knew something about GameStop announcing something that was going to cause its stock to rise suddenly. It's just them, a bunch of people buying, and it raises the value of the stock. And if they were to buy it and then sell, they'd make money on the deal. But these people aren't doing that. They're buying it and holding on to it. And the stock just goes up and up and up and up and up. And meanwhile, the hedge fund loses money on the deal to the tune of billions of dollars. And now we're seeing a peek behind the curtain as Wall Street and the powers that be are starting to scramble, because heaven forbid the little people take power for themselves. We've got to protect the elite hedge funds. And so they shut down trading and you can no longer buy, you can only sell. And when you do that, you're manipulating the market. And a lot of people, a lot of legal experts are saying manipulating the market illegally. So now there is a class action suit against the app that they were trading through. It's going to be a very interesting case to see what happens with this. But this is Occupy Wall Street the way it should have been done. And
Yeah.
you're seeing a lot of people on both sides of the aisle, left and right, saying the way things are is BS. The politicians and the elite Wall Street, people are are in cahoots, and it's time for the little person to start exerting their rights. And this is what we're talking about. The irony here is that the app that they were using is called Robinhood, because they were marketing around the idea of, steal from the rich and give to the poor. This is the poor person, the average person's opportunity to make money, right? And they are doing the exact opposite. They are falling down on the side of the rich to keep the poor down.
I have a question too. What does this say about the value of stocks in general right now? Is there, I mean,
I'm sorry?
what does this say just about the stock market overall? Are a lot of the stocks inflated?
Okay. So,
I mean, is this what is this proving
now
a point
Midnight
about?
Edge tried to wade into this. And again, they wade into it. Midnight's Edge is a great source for, Hollywood business and behind the scenes and stuff like that. They're not necessarily the best source for what's going on in the business world necessarily.
Yes,
okay?
exactly. Yeah.
So I don't mean to cast any shade at them. I'm just pointing out that they're not perfect. But they were talking about this, and they kind of got a little lost in the weeds on this, because they started then making the comparison to Bitcoin. Okay. And somebody pointed out, well, Bitcoin is just vaporware, right? It doesn't really exist. It really only has the value that people ascribe to it. Well, I'm sorry, but that's how business works. No currency for any country, no commodity, whether it's gold or grains or blue chips, none of those things have any actual value beyond what the market ascribes to it. Okay. If there is a Boba Fett action figure with a firing backpack, and there's only like 2 of them that exist because they were, prototypes, and they're worth, I don't know, you say they're worth $1 million because that's what they go for on eBay when they actually show up for sale. That's what they're worth. But ultimately, it's just a piece of plastic. It only has value because someone's willing to pay that for it. What is gold? Gold is just an element. It's more rare than lead, but it's good for things. It's a good conductor. It's necessary for integrated circuits and so forth.
It's pretty.
And it's pretty. It looks nice in a ring, but ultimately it only has value because you're willing to pay so much for it. Diamonds are not as rare as people believe they are. De Beers has cornered the market on it. So they've artificially inflated it. Everything in the world is only worth what you're willing to pay for it. And money and currency only has value because as a worldwide group, we've ascribed value to it. And that's how the market works. And as soon as you understand that, you have your starting line here. That's what you have to understand going into this whole debate and this particular news piece.
Okay. I'm trying to think what I have to add to this.
And
'Cause
I'd like to think that I actually provided you guys with some clarity on this. And
I think
I'm
you
2
explained it better
drinks
than
in here,
anyone.
so
No,
you
that's why
know
we.
how wasted I am.
Well, this is why this was the first article we covered. Okay,
Hmm.
no, but yeah,
Because
actually,
it's the most complex.
Casey Scott was saying though it's up to 70 billion now in losses. He was mentioning that earlier. Just I always
2021 is it. We're already seeing it. This isn't even a prediction. I'm just calling it as I see it. 2021 is the year of the peek behind the curtain. It is Toto pulling aside the curtain so that you can see the guy pulling the levers, you know,
yeah
and one running things, because people are seeing the corruption in government, the corruption in business, in Wall Street, and it is for all the divide that we have right now, we're seeing a great deal of unity. The left and the right are both going, this is BS, and we need to do something about this.
yeah. It just makes me wonder if everything could come down like a house of cards, but maybe maybe I don't fully
Actually,
understand.
I think that's absolutely fair, Boomer. I think it's inevitable. I think that just like I was talking about how value is ascribed based on what people are willing to pay for it, it's vaporware, and that's what the market is. So yes, it can come down like cards. Just as we had a stock market crash, just as we have bubbles, just as we have real estate bubbles and so forth, people that pay attention to this stuff understand what can possibly happen. That's why everyone says diversify.